We are so close to the end of our curriculum for the year. I'm so proud of how much you guys have accomplished this year. I just wanted to say that. So today we're going to do lesson 14-5, the Law of Cosines. And if you had me for geometry last year, we also did this one after we did Law of Sines. So we're going to learn about another way that you can relate missing parts of triangles to other sides and find missing values. So our essential question is, how do the trigonometric functions relate to trigonometric ratios for a right triangle? We're going to find the area of any triangle by using one angle and two sides. We're going to use the law of cosines in finding the measures of sides and angles of a triangle. So this is another way that we can find missing information. So the law of cosine says in triangle A, B, and C, the sides A, B, and C represent the lengths of the sides, and angles are respectively. So if you wanted to find the length of side A, so if you don't know side A, because in a non-right triangle, we can't use the Pythagorean theorem. That won't work. That's only for a right triangle. So this is another method we can use to find a missing side. So a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine of a. And b squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2ac cosine b, and c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine of angle c. The way that I like to remember them is if you're solving for a, you use a Pythagorean identity, so you have a equals b and c. These are all law of cosine, so these are all going to say cosine here. So it's 2 of what you already did, 2 more of b and c, and then the angle opposite the side that you're looking at. So these have a pattern. They make sense as long as you take the time to memorize them, which you should. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Alright, using the law of cosines to solve a problem. The sailboat competition race wants to lay out a triangular course with a 40-degree angle between two sides that measure 3.5 miles and 2.5 miles. What will be the approximate lengths of the third side? Alright, so we need to draw ourselves a picture. So there's going to be a sailboat race. We've got a triangle with sides A, B, and C, or angles A, B, and C. We know that one of the sides, between two sides, it doesn't really matter which two, so I'm just going to say C is 3.5 miles. B is 2.5 miles. And then it says the angle that's between them is 40 degrees. And they want us to find the missing side. Well, if we wanted to find a missing side using our law of cosines, we're looking for the side opposite our angle. So this is our side A. So a squared equals b squared plus c squared. There's our Pythagorean, close to our Pythagorean identity, minus 2 more bc's, and then the cosine of angle A. So that's the information that we need to put in. I shouldn't have made that a 40. I should have left that an A. And now we can put in our information. So a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine A. So a squared equals our b is the side opposite, 2.5 squared plus 3.5 squared minus 2 times 2.5 times 3.5, and then the cosine of 40. So you can simplify this, multiply this together. You can square these, add them together. You can multiply this stuff, get as much done like beforehand, or you could just put it all in your calculator, see what happens. It should, as long as you're using like a graphing calculator or a scientific one, it should multiply them in the correct order and add them, subtract them like it's supposed to. So you should get a squared equals 5.094, We put that into your calculator. Now to find A, what do we have to do? Because we want just the side, not the side squared. So we take the square root. So A is 2.26. That's a terrible decimal. And it's in miles. So in order to create that 40-degree angle with those lengths of sides, our third side would have to be 2.26 miles. Alright. Finding an angle measure. Alright, so this one's a little bit different. So it gives us the three sides. They want us to find the measure of angle C, and then round your answer to the nearest degree. So when we do this one, we have to approach it a little bit differently because we're looking for an angle. So we need to make sure we go from the perspective of the angle that we're looking at. So angle C is the one that we're looking at. So that means the side that we're going to set equal is side C. So C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Oops, that's a B. Minus 2AB cosine of angle C. So we always go from the side that we're looking for, or the opposite angle. So C is 12. 12 squared equals A is across from A, 5 squared plus 8 squared minus 2 times 5 times 8 cosine of C. We don't know what C is, so we can't put in that information. Alright, so let's go ahead and simplify this. 12 squared is 144. 5 squared is 25. 8 squared is 64. Minus 2 times 5 is 50. 50 times 8 is, no, that's 10. Whoa, well, good morning. 10, 80 cosine C. So if we add 25 and 64 together, we get 89. So we're going to subtract 89 from both sides. So you get 55 equals negative 80 cosine C. Now, in order to solve for C, first we're going to divide by negative 80. So we can move that over. So we know cosine of C equals negative 55 over 80. Now, remember when we did the last lesson when we talked about not having the degree of an angle, we can't just divide by cosine because cosine has to have a value associated with it. So what we do is we multiply by the inverse of cosine. So cosine inverse. So then put into your calculator, C equals cosine inverse of negative 55 over 80. So put this into your calculator, cosine inverse. That's going to be second cosine. And you should get 133.4 degrees. Alright. In triangle ABC, B is 6.2, C is 7.8, and the measure of angle A is 45 degrees. What's the measure of angle B? Well, again, let's start by drawing a picture. So put down the information that you know. So we know that we have a triangle with sides A, B, and C. We know that, with angles A, B, and C, I'm sorry. We know side B is across from angle B, and that's 6.2. We know that side C is across from angle C, and that's 7.8. We know that the measure of angle A is 45 degrees. So we want to know what is this angle. Okay, so what we're going to need to do is that what we want to do? So using the law of cosines, we have to have all three angles in order to, not all three angles, all three sides in order to be able to make a relation. Right now we have two sides and one angle. And if we wanted to use the law of sines, then we have to use the ones that are across. We don't know B, but we know side B. We know angle A, but we don't know side A. We know side C, but we don't know angle C. So we don't have enough information to solve it right now. So what we're going to do first is we're going to solve and find this side A over here. because we have to know that in order to use either sine or cosine. So let's go ahead and use, from the perspective of angle A, our law of cosines. So a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine of A. We'll fill in our information. A squared equals 6.2 squared plus 7.8 squared minus 2 times 6.2 times 7.8 cosine of 45. Okay, go ahead and solve that. Put that into your calculator and simplify. You should get a squared equals 30.89, and then take the square root of that. So a equals 5.56. So now we know this missing side. So from here, you can use either the law of cosines or the law of sines. I think the law of sines is a little bit less involved, so I'm going to choose to use that method. So by using the law of sines, I'm going to do the sine of b over side b equals the sine of a over side a, because we have enough information to do that. So sine of b over side b is 6.2 equals the sine of 45 degrees over 5.56. And then you cross multiply, you simplify. You should get sine b is 6.2 times the sine of 45 degrees over 5.56. Go ahead and put that into your calculator, simplify, solve. Make sure you use your inverse sine, so inverse sine of that. So angle B, the measure of angle B, should be 52 degrees. Alright, if you didn't get that, come see me or send me an email or something so that I can help you figure out where you got lost. Alright, and that's it for our lesson. I want you to think about this question. Explain how you choose between law of sines and law of cosines when finding the measure of a missing angle or side. I want you to discuss that with your partner, and then your homework is lesson 14-5. And I hope you have a great day.